Hey guys, it's 𝗙𝗪𝗏 back with another video, finally. I did leave that community post a while back. I think it's been almost 2 weeks now actually since I've made my last video. And I told you guys it's going to be a little while because I was in Turkey for the last video. Now I'm back in Germany, and of course I drove here. It was about a 3-day drive, but I was so exhausted and drained from that that I needed to take an extra few days off. But I'm back now making a video for you guys. Nice and fresh, refreshed after taking a little time off. Sometimes we have to do that in life. We got to take off a little bit of time. Sometimes we go like steamrollers through life, and I've been going a little bit like a steamroller for the better part of this year so far. So I needed a little bit. Sometimes you got to collect yourself, and even us coaches and teachers and YouTubers have to sometimes take some time off and think about what it is that we want to do and manifest, and do some breathing and do some relaxing. All right. Anyway, and I hope that all of you guys are relaxed out there and whatever you're doing and wherever you are, if you're traveling or if you're not, or if you're having a vacation. I hope you're having a wonderful, relaxing time. I hope you're focusing on yourselves out there, because you know how important that is. I don't have to repeat that, but I will many, many times. All right. I figured a great way to come back here is to do a little mailbag video. So I've reached into the mailbag, and I've actually got 3 emails here that I want to touch on briefly. And they all have to do with X's, manifesting X's or specific people into their lives, these folks that have written me. And of course, that's what this channel seems to be about. At least that's what you guys are making it about. It still is. It's, I'll sometimes upload a video on something else, and I people are like, that's cool, right on, thanks 𝗙𝗪𝗏. And then, what you guys really want to hear is, how do I get a relationship with that person? My God, please. So you're driving this thing. This is your thing. Okay. So the first one, I'm not going to mention names. None of you specifically told me that I could mention your names, so I'm not going to mention your names. But this one had in the subject line, manifesting question, but in reverse. And at first I didn't know what that meant, but I think I understand it as I read the email. It's a short one, but there's quite a bit to say about it. So, this person, who's a man, states, I recently had a thought that I needed to take a specific route of action, and I couldn't think of any reason why I needed to take that route that I strongly felt like I needed to take. Which leads to my question. Is it possible that some of our thoughts and the things we feel like we need to do are actually the result of someone else's manifesting? Or to clarify, I randomly thought I should cut off a female coworker who my ex gets jealous about every time she sees me talking to her. I realize it's most likely just my subconscious telling me it's something I should do to get my ex back. It's most likely your fear that's telling you to do that to get your ex back, not your subconscious. It's your conscious mind, your monkey mind, your ego mind, trying to take an action, trying to interfere with the process, being full of fear and doubt about whether this is even possible, whether it's going to happen. Maybe it's been a long time. I need to do something. I need to do something. I need to do something. And now you're going to take an action. Now, here's the thing about that, okay? And we talk about inspired action a lot. And I want to touch on that a little bit again, and I'll probably do another video just specifically on that, because it's an important thing, because people have that big question in their mind, and it's a good question to ask when it comes to manifesting. What action should I take? When should I take it? How do I know when it's a right action? How do I know when it's inspired action or when it's an action taken out of fear? And the thing about it is that you have to start paying attention a little bit to how you feel on the inside. And this is what you should be doing anyway. You should be teaching yourself and training yourself to do that anyway. Pay attention to how things feel, how thoughts that you're having feel to you. If a thought you're having feels kind of icky, tense, anxious, fearful, fear-based, You know, that's a thought, that's an indication from your inner being, which is guiding you constantly. through your emotions. That's the language it's using. It's your emotions and your feelings. That's the language that your inner being is using most of the time to communicate with you. Okay? At least that's the language I believe it prefers to use. But most of us do not understand how to read our emotions yet in that regard, in that way. And don't understand that it is a communication from our higher selves, which is guiding us all the time. And so sometimes your higher self will give you other kind of, thwacks in the face, like numbers, repeating numbers, that kind of thing. Yes, that's your inner being trying to get your attention, communicate with you. But it's going to do that until you become more proficient at reading your emotions and understanding how your inner being communicates with you through your emotions, okay? So what's happening here is that I believe you're taking an action based on fear. And one of the ways you can tell, like I said already, is when you think about and consider taking that action, when you're faced with the choice of a certain action, how does it feel? Pay attention to your muscles. Is there any tension in any part of your body? Do you have butterflies in your stomach? Does your chest get kind of tight? Does your mouth get dry, like the way you would if you have a fear reaction to something? Or if you're nervous about something, that the butterflies and the jitters and that kind of thing. That's usually an indication that it's not a good action to take. It's not an inspired action to take. It's not coming from an inspired place. In other words, what you want is already created. It's already out there. Your inner being understands what you want. It also understands the perfect way and the perfect timing to get you there or to get that thing for you. But you have to trust the process. And often what happens is that we'll confuse fear-based action for inspired action. Inspired action is going to feel completely different. You're not even going to think about it. You're not going to sit around and wonder, I wonder if I should do this. I wonder if I should do this. I wonder if I should do this. Also, your inner being is never going to suggest to you that you be mean to people, that you cut people off. There may be an inspiration to move away from certain people who may have a negative influence on you, or that you may feel are not a match to who you are now any longer. But usually what happens is that those people will just drop out of your life anyway. They'll just automatically kind of disappear, and you'll sort of one day wonder, I wonder whatever happened to Tim or whoever. Wow, that guy. Well, you've changed. Tim is just sort of in another dimension now. He's around. He's just not in your sort of vibrational sphere, okay? You're kind of the way that you're showing up now. Let's say he's not present in your dimension anymore. So that's the first thing I want to say about that. So this is not inspired action that you took. This is fear-based action. And I can tell by what you said is, I feel like I needed to cut off this coworker to get my ex back. So here right away, I can see that you're trying to take action to speed up the process of getting your ex back, and you're hoping that this will somehow impress her, I believe it's a her, into wanting to be back. Oh, I was jealous of that coworker. Now you've cut the coworker out of your life. You've made this concession to your ex. And let me ask you something. Why is this person your ex if they're going to get jealous about you talking to coworkers? What's happening most likely here, my friend, is that you are also experiencing jealousy. You're experiencing fear about not getting this person back in your life, not being able to manifest them back into your life, that they're going to talk to somebody else, okay? That they're going to meet somebody at work that they're going to fall in love with, and it's not going to be you. So you're scared of that. So you're taking action based on fear. That's what's going on here. And in all likelihood, because you didn't really specify in the email what the result of this was, but I'm going to guess, I'm going to take a wild guess, I'm going to say that this did absolutely nothing to help get your ex back. What did you do? Did you call her and say, hey, I cut off that coworker so that you won't be jealous anymore? Want to go out for a beer? I'm just saying this, and I'm needling you a little bit because I want you to understand and want you to become aware of what you're doing here and what's going on here. And I know that a lot of you out there are probably doing the same thing. Okay, I've done the same thing. I need to do something to impress them. I need them to love me. I need. It's not happening fast enough. And what you need to be doing is focusing on yourself. What you need to be doing is understanding what it is you want. What do you want out of this relationship? Do you just want text messages from her? Do you want to be her servant? Right? Do you want to just constantly modify your life and your relationships to make this other person happy? That's going to be a dead-end road. So consider for a minute what it is that you want. Do you want a healthy, balanced relationship? And we're going to get into that with another email coming up here. How do you want to feel in the relationship? all right? Again, you want to feel free? Do you want to feel loved and adored? Do you want to feel adventurous? Do you want to feel alive? Then focus on those areas in your life where those feelings already exist, things that already exist in your life, or things that you can do very easily that will conjure up those feelings for you. And try to feel those feelings as often as possible. Try to talk about them as often as possible. Think them as often as possible, okay? And before you know it, what you're doing is you're focusing on making yourself a happy person without needing the other person to change, and also without you needing to do anything to make the other person happy. You're not responsible for their happiness. They're not responsible for your happiness. That's your job. Your happiness is your job, and her happiness is her job. So in order for you to cut off coworkers like that for the sole purpose of impressing an ex, or thinking that I need to do this so that she'll get back with me, is again putting the cart before the horse. Is that the expression? And I see this so many times, and in all likelihood, my friend, what's happening here is that this is going to slow things down, if it hasn't already for you. And you're going to get more frustrated, and you're going to wonder what happened, and I did this thing. Inspired action is something that you're not even going to think about. You're not even going to ask questions as to whether to do this thing. It will seem like the next natural thing to do. You know, what do you do when you get up in the morning? I make a pot of coffee, all right? I go take a leak. Whatever, I drink a glass of water, I do my yoga. Whatever it is, it's just a thing that you do. You go outside and it's raining. Oh, I'm gonna go inside and get a raincoat. That's an inspired action, and it's usually what it is. It's not something that's gonna feel, you know, overwhelmingly joyous necessarily, or overwhelmingly positive. You're gonna jump out of your skin with rainbows shooting out of your ears or whatever. It's gonna feel normal. It's gonna feel like the next natural, normal thing to do that you don't even have to think about or question, okay? And I want you guys to listen to that, because anyone who's out there is wondering, should I contact them? Should I text them? You'll know when it feels natural. Not when if you have to ask the question, should I do it? Then the answer is no. Anytime you have to ask, I wonder if I should, I wonder, should I do this? The answer is going to be no, don't do that right now, okay? If it's like, oh, I'm going to text them, see how they are, boop, 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 boop. And then you go and you do something else and you don't even think about it anymore. That's more like inspired action. It's going to feel like, hey, I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. Okay, I'm thirsty, I'm going to drink a glass of water. I'm going to get in my car, I'm going to drive down to the store and get some milk, whatever it is. It's going to feel like that. It's not something you think about, okay? And if it does, it's also just going to feel easy is what it's going to do. It's going to feel, there's going to be none of that tension in the muscles, none of that butterflies in the stomach or dry throat or whatever it is. It's just going to feel easy and natural. It's going to feel like flow, all right? And you'll know at that point that's what's going on. So what you're doing here is you're not focusing on yourself enough. You're still focusing too much on her. If it is a her, I apologize if it's not. I think you said she. But the point is here, you'll know when you're taking inspired action when it feels like the next natural thing to do. But if you're doing it to impress this person, your ex, if you're doing it, you know, because you, and again, you're saying, this is going to get her back. If I cut off this coworker because she's jealous, now I have to make a modification. First of all, I got to change my behavior in my life and my relationships with people. And this is a coworker. So you're cutting off a coworker. How's that going to come across? Is that paying attention to yourself and to your life? Or is that making your ex the center of your universe? Are you making yourself the center of your universe here? Or are you making the ex the center of your universe? When you take an action like that, when you say, I'm going to cut off a coworker because my ex might get jealous and this might be a great way to get back with her. No, are you making it about yourself? I don't think so. You're making it about them, right? And what do I keep saying? You got to make this about yourself. And so is this going to make your life easier at work, cutting off a coworker? How's that going to make your life? How's that going to make your life flow? All right, how is that looking out for your own best self-interest before theirs? And this is not a girlfriend of yours or a partner. This is an ex. So think about that too. Why are you making concessions for an ex? You need to be focusing on who you are, on yourself, how to make yourself the best, strongest, happiest, most independent, most confident person that you can, okay? And then focus on why you really want this relationship to begin with. All All right? Do you want to spend a relationship making constant concessions for somebody else because they're going to get jealous about everything? Now, you pet a dog, they're going to get jealous. I mean, you know, think about if that's what you want. Or what kind of relationship do you want with this person? Or just in general, what kind of relationship do you want? How do you want to feel? And then focus on those feelings. Identify those feelings. If it's freedom, if it's independence, you know, if it's being loved and adored, if it's having an adventure, if it's aliveness that you're after, a feeling of aliveness. Look for those areas in your life where that already exists. And look for things that you can already do that are easy to do, that conjure up those feelings for you, so that you're immersing yourself in those feelings. And then all the things that match that for you, that are symbols of that for you, will come into your life, including a relationship with your ex. But you need to become clear about what it is you want, and you need to start focusing on yourself. You can't be focusing on them and how do I make them happy, and how do I get them back, and what action I need to take. And this action, I have to tell you, it's not an inspired action. But I think you already know that, because your very next line is, but then I thought, what if it's not? What if it's not my subconscious telling me I should do this to get my ex back? I can assure you it's not. What if it's actually a thought I had because my ex has put energy into wanting me to stop talking to this other coworker? Well, no. Your ex cannot manifest in your life. You can manifest in your life, just like you cannot manifest in your ex's life. This is not about, and this is again comes back to sort of the free will question, which is a sticky one. But what's happening here is that you're focusing on a version of your ex that's jealous. Okay, you're attracting a version of your ex that's jealous. That sounds like is kind of a difficult person to deal with. Okay, and what's happening is that's probably happening inside of you. And I mentioned that earlier. You probably have a lot of that jealousy going on as well, and you're probably worrying about her finding or meeting somebody at work, etc. And so therefore, what's happening is that thought pattern in you, that fear in you, focusing on that in you, is bringing out that behavior in other people, including your ex. Okay, but no, your ex can't put thoughts in your mind. You can read your ex's energy, okay? If she's thinking about you and she has an angry kind of thought, you can sense that energy, and that might be repellent energy to you. If she's thinking about you, she's having a loving thought about you, you can feel that, you can receive that, but it's like a phone call, okay? If I can call you on the phone, you can hear me speaking to you, I can hear you speaking to me, but I can't put words into your mouth. I can't make you say a certain thing, okay? So your ex is not putting thoughts into your head. But what's happening is that these are projecting out from you, these thoughts. You need to start taking a look at yourself and where are you being jealous? Where are you showing up this way? And then ask yourself, why am I being jealous? Why am I worried about this? Why do I want to be with this person so badly? What do I feel is missing in my life? Where is this hole that I feel is missing in my self-confidence, in my happiness? Why do I feel I'm not capable of making myself happy, that I need this person to do it, and that I need to make these dramatic concessions in my life, like cutting off a coworker, which is very likely going to make your life even harder, more difficult to live, because that's a coworker, a relationship with a coworker. I can't imagine you're going to win any points at work for doing that. And that's not looking out for yourself, okay? That's still making the other person the center of your universe. So to quit babbling about this, I think I've made my point here. First of all, no, she's not putting your thoughts in your head. Your fear is what you're paying attention to right now. You're not paying attention to your subconscious mind. You're paying attention to your conscious mind, which is full of fear and doubt, and also jealousy. I'm going to make that leap and say that you are experiencing jealousy, and you're projecting that outward, and therefore it's showing up in the form of your ex behaving a certain way. And then you have a fear about not getting your ex back in your life, that it's not going to happen, you're not going to manifest them, and so you need to take this drastic action, which is not an inspired action, okay? Cutting off your coworker so that your ex won't get jealous, so that maybe, hopefully, you'll get her back. It's not an inspired action, that's a fear-based action. So think about what I've said in terms of learning to read your body language, your body's physical reaction to thoughts you're having, and your emotions, and understanding and starting to see them as a guidance system from your inner being. That's your subconscious communicating with you. It doesn't communicate with you through words, it communicates with you through feelings, okay? This is a feeling process. Manifesting is an emotional, feeling, vibrational process. Yes, it is. So, I'll do another video about that specifically in the future, but for now, There's your answer. Okay? I hope that helps you. I hope I wasn't too harsh on you. So the next person is, let's see, the subject line said 𝗙𝗚𝗏. Hello, I'm 𝗵𝗶 from Belgium, and I absolutely love your videos. Thank you. Thank you, 𝗵𝗶 from Belgium. I have one question. I want my ex back, and I visualize us together often, and it's not manifesting. But whenever I'm scared for 1 second that he's going to meet someone else and I feel a big stitch in my stomach, I see on Facebook that he's friends with one of my friends. Why are you following him on Facebook? I've said this so many times. If you need to stop focusing on them. First of all, what they're doing, who they're doing it with, what they're saying, what they're not saying, whether they're showing up, whether or not showing up. But the biggest thing you need to stop doing is you need to stop looking at what is. Okay, if the situation isn't the way that you want it to be from a manifesting standpoint, that's what you're feeding more energy into what is, into the circumstance that currently exists by focusing on it, because it's with your focus that you switch into different realities. Okay, and so you need to take your focus off what's happening right now. And the biggest thing that I see people doing, this is a huge one, especially this day and age, is that they're following their exes and their specific people on social media, and then going, oh my God, I saw him with her, I saw her with him, and then conjuring up all kinds of fear-based thoughts in their minds about what could possibly be happening. First of all, you don't know what's happening just because they're friends with your friends or there's pictures of them with your friends. You don't know what's going on there, but you're feeding your fear by doing that. It's like playing Russian roulette with your vibration, with your emotional state, with your inner state. Why would you do that? Stop following them on Facebook. I'm not saying necessarily unfriend them on Facebook, but you can unfollow them so you don't see their updates all the time. Don't look at their profile. Focus on how you want things to be instead. Get clear on how you want things to look. What's the relationship you want with them? Become specific about that. Become specific and clear about how you want to feel in the relationship, okay? You want to feel confident and strong and sure and secure, then you need to work on doing things, thinking things, speaking things in your life that conjure up those feelings for you. You need to practice feeling that way as much as possible. And then the things that match that will come into your life, including the relationship that you want, in the way that you want it. But you're not going to do it by focusing on his Facebook and looking at who he's hanging out with and becoming jealous and conjuring and feeding your fear plant, okay? Your fear tree is growing out of control, all right? Because you keep giving it water and plant food. Starve it. And the way you starve it is to not give it attention. You stop giving it airtime, okay? You give airtime and attention to what you'd rather want, all right? And this is another reason this is happening, because what you're asking me essentially is why do negative things manifest so quickly and good things manifest so slowly? Because you're operating from a default mode of basically believing more in the negative things. You're feeding the fear-based thoughts. You've got so much momentum going on behind that it's happening much more quickly and much smoothly, and you're sort of running on a program of expecting bad things to happen. So what do you expect to happen when you look at his Facebook? Again, I told this to the previous viewer who wrote that email. How are you feeling when you look at his Facebook? Or when you make the decision that you're about to look at his Facebook page, what comes up in your body? Butterflies, probably, right? Jitters, nervousness, okay? Dry mouth, yeah? That's an indication from your inner being saying, don't do this. Don't take this action right now. Don't look at his profile. Do something else instead. Focus on yourself. Don't focus so much on him and what he's doing right now. Focus on how you'd rather want things to be. So if you keep looking at the reflection of what you see as such a solid reality, and your mind is convinced of it being such a solid reality, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to keep perpetuating that. How can you create what you want from that mode of operating? Okay? So, but that's another thing. We manifest by default, especially if we come to this as beginners manifesting. We're operating on default. We kind of like go along in life and we're creating things left and right. And it's this topsy-turvy kind of whirlwind situation, and we go, well, that's just how life is. And then suddenly we pick up a book, or we see a film, or we see a video on YouTube, and somebody goes, hey, you can create your own reality. Then we become curious. We start reading about this stuff. But then we try to create things and we try to manifest things, but we're still finding it easier to manifest negative, unwanted things because we're still running on that program, okay? So this is a process, and it's about practicing better thoughts, practicing focusing on yourself, practicing focusing on what you want instead of looking at the way things are. It's not a change you're going to make overnight, and you need to be patient with yourself on that end, okay? It takes practice. You're learning to speak a new language. You're learning to read yourself in a new way. You're learning to look at life and operate in the world in a new way. And it's almost like learning to walk again, or learning to ride a bike again, okay? Or learning an instrument, or learning a new language. You're not going to learn French overnight. You're not going to toddlers don't learn to walk in a day, okay? They keep falling on their butt, then they cry for a bit, then they get up again, they try it again, then they take a few extra steps, and now they're happy. Then they'll fall on their butt again, then they'll cry again. But one day it clicks, okay? Because they don't give up. So be like that. Don't give up, okay? Keep going, but see it as a practice. This is going to be a daily practice. And so, right now, my guess is you're operating on that old programming that's still expecting negative things to come, and you keep looking for evidence of it. You're actually voluntarily looking for evidence of it. Every time you visit his Facebook page and his social media, you're looking for, see, I knew it, he's with somebody else. See, I knew the bad thing was going to happen. When's the other foot going to drop? The other shoe going to drop, right? Nothing ever works out for me. Look, things go well for a while, and then it turns into a disaster. These are the things that are constantly running through our minds, and it's how we've been trained. And oftentimes it's not even your belief that you develop, but you picked it up from a parent or a sibling or an adult in your childhood or society or the media, okay? Movies and Hollywood are just wonderful sources for negative habitual thinking and behavior. So you need to start, unraveling that. And the way you replace a bad habit, the way you get rid of a bad habit is to replace it with a better habit. Okay, so don't try to undo the negative thinking. Just replace it with more dominant positive thinking. Keep practicing the more positive thinking. Keep expecting more positive things. Repeat your affirmations so that they feel good, okay, and your visualizations. And you're asking me a question here about, do I have to feel that same stitch in my stomach when I'm visualizing what I want? Not being scared, but being in love? Or do I just have to feel being together, talking to him? And I'm going to say to you that it's good, first of all, excellent that you're focusing on how you should feel when you're doing the visualizations and how you should feel when you do your affirmations, because that's the important part, okay? And I would say that you don't necessarily need to look for that stitch in the stomach. In other words, feeling that overarching joy or something when you're visualizing. You can, and that's certainly helpful. But really what you're going for is a feeling of normalcy, okay? You want this to become normal in your mind. You want a relationship with him to feel like it's a normal thing. Because right now you're still making it a big thing, a rare thing, okay? And so many of us do this with the big things that we want. And we differentiate those, okay? I can manifest a cup of coffee so easily, but I can't manifest $1,000. Well, you want the $1,000 a lot more than you want the cup of coffee, and you don't feel like you need the cup of coffee, but you feel like you need the $1,000. And see, that's coming from a place and a vibration of thinking that that is a rarity. Somehow you're putting more value on the $1,000 than you are on the cup of coffee. And from the perspective of the universe, perspective of manifesting, it's all the same. When Abraham Hicks says a button is the same as a castle, it really means that, energetically speaking. It's all the damn same, okay? A relationship with your ex is not as difficult or more difficult to achieve than a cup of coffee or a nice parking space or finding $1 on the street or something, okay? It's just the same, and that's what you're trying to get to. That's where you're trying to get your belief system towards, okay? You're trying to train your mind to understand that it's normal, it's an everyday thing. And when you do your visualizations and when you're feeling it real, this is what Neville says, feeling it real means feeling like it's really happening. And so think about who you would be. Who are you in that relationship? How are you acting every day? How are you feeling every day? How are you holding yourself? What's your body language like? What's your posture like? Okay, you're feeling confident in the relationship. So you got to feel that way. Now, if you're in that relationship, are you going to be jumping for joy and jumping off the walls and doing wheelies in the park or whatever? No, you're going to just go through your life. You're going to feel blessed that you're in a great relationship. So that's how you should feel, but you're going to feel strong and confident, and you're going to feel like it's a normal thing. Of course, when I get home, he's going to be there, or he's going to come home from work, or I'm going to see him at dinner, and of course, we're going to make love, and of course, we're going to have our vacation together, and of course, we're going to watch movies together and have a great time, and we'll do this, and we're going to do that. And you need to feel the normalcy, even the everyday normalcy of that relationship that you want. So put yourself in scenes that feel normal, okay? Put yourself in scenes that are maybe even a couple years down the road. Maybe you guys are looking at your wedding pictures together and laughing about them. Remember Aunt Mary when she slipped and fell into the cake, or whatever it is, okay? Maybe you're watching your favorite movies together, or maybe even more simply than that, you're just hanging out at the house. He's doing something in one room that makes him happy. You're doing something in another room that makes him happy. You're close enough, you're within dancing distance of each other, and you're close enough that you can just go up and dance with each other, okay? And that's a normal kind of way that a relationship plays out anyway, okay? Those mundane, everyday things that are most relationships, that's really what they are, all right? So you make him smaller in your mind than you're making him right now. Stop looking at his social media. Start focusing on how you want the thing to be, okay? How do you want to feel? Start feeling that way, and make your visualizations and your affirmations feel normal. Feel like, oh, that's, of course, that's totally, yeah, he's in love with me. Absolutely, totally normal. When you're on that route, when it starts feeling like it's not a big deal, you don't even have to think about it that much because you're so convinced it's going to happen anyway, because it feels normal, because it's a normal thing. Of course, I'm going to get him back. Just like I can manifest a cup of coffee, I'm going to manifest my ex. That's when you know you're on the right track. And that's usually when your manifestation is just around the corner, okay? So I hope that helps. I'm getting back in the flow of this stuff, guys. It's been a little while. It's weird how you get out of practice with this stuff if you don't make a video in like a week and a half or 2 weeks. But anyway, I hope I'm making sense and not babbling too much, as usual. So the next and last email here, I like this title. The subject, she was free in her wildness. She was a wanderess, a drop of free water. She belonged to no man and to no city. That's nice. So this person writes, hello, I love your channel. Really refreshing and genuine. Thank you. This is a quote that I adore, and I had a question about it. I'm going to repeat it. She repeats it here. She was free in her wildness. She was a wanderess, a drop of free water. She belonged to no man and to no city. That's nice. Who is that anyway? I don't think you mentioned in the email where that quote is from. But you wrote, because this really resonates with me and I'm projecting something out that may be affecting my relationships with men. With men? There's a question mark actually. Like many other viewers, I have a desire to have a relationship with a specific person. Big surprise. However, I have noticed the same patterns with the relationships I have had with men in my life. They pursue me for months, with initially me not even noticing them or being in my own world, etc. Then I begin liking them or enjoying the attention, and we start a relationship. Soon after, they lose interest, and then I start pursuing them, trying to prove how great I am. I know this is ridiculous, in brackets. I'm glad you do. But it's not as ridiculous as you might think. What's going on here? And it's a similar thing with the previous emailer who wrote, why do negative things happen so easily, and why do positive things seem to happen so slowly, or seem so evasive or elusive? What's happening? I mean, you're kind of mapping out here, maybe without even realizing, just kind of the basic formula for manifesting anything, but also specifically manifesting relationships with specific people. You're kind of like, whatever, and going about your life and going about yourself, and they're pursuing you like crazy. Because when you're about yourself, you're exuding a type of independence and confidence and charisma, a sort of energetic magnetism that is irresistible to people. And I say this to you folks all the time, is that if you want to manifest a relationship with a specific person, you need to be about yourself. Because when you're about yourself, not only will that person come back in your life or want to come back in your life, they will feel attracted to you. other people will as well. And probably what's happening is that not only, you're saying these men are pursuing me, but probably people are just pursuing you in general. People are probably just being easy with you, giving you things out of the blue when you're in that mode of being kind of 𝗙𝗰𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗋, happy-go-lucky, independent. You're being about yourself when you're in that mode. And of course men are going to pursue you because, like I said, you're giving off a charisma that is irresistible. You're actually being attractive, energetically attractive, vibrationally attractive, okay? So this is the kind of energy you want to put out there. That's why I always say, and I always stress, you need to make this about yourself, and you need to make this about loving and appreciating and accepting yourself. You need to build that confidence, because if you're making it about them, you're putting the pressure and you're putting the job of your happiness on their shoulders, and they're going to feel it, and they're going to feel it energetically, whether they realize it or not, whether they're that aware of their energy or not, or even spiritually aware of themselves or not. They're going to feel it, and it will be like inexplicable to them. They're going to just feel icky and be like, I don't want to be around that person. And you felt this too with people, I'm sure you have. So you're already kind of answering your own question here. What's going on is that when you're in that mode of being about yourself, now you can want and desire a relationship, right? And even a relationship with somebody specific. And that desire shouldn't go away. I'm not saying kill your desire, and that's a point of confusion that a lot of times people have as well. They think they should have no desires when things work this way. No, you can have your desire, but what it is coming from a place of being sort of, and Abraham Hicks says this, I'm happy with where I am. You have to be happy with where you are. I'm happy with where I am while reaching for more. Okay, so that's kind of that sweet zone of manifesting you want to be in. Whereas the two opposite ends of being like just way too uninterested in something or having absolutely no desires, which is impossible, by the way. I don't care how good of a monk you are or whatever, you're always going to have desires. If you want to have no desires, then that's your desire, is to have no desires. So there you have a desire by default. So it's impossible not to have desires. But the other end is I need this to be happy, or I'm not going to be happy, I'm going to be miserable if this doesn't happen. My life is going to be garbage if this doesn't happen. Everything will fall apart. You want to get to that sweet middle zone, like I said, and that's the place where you're like, I'm cool with where I am. I'm totally enjoying my life. I'm about myself. I'm awesome. But I could have this would be cool, okay? That's the attitude you want to develop. And that goes back to what I told the previous person about. It needs to feel normal to you to have this thing. You can't, if it's a big, unattainable thing in your mind, it's going to be difficult, because that's how you're approaching the thing, right? So that's what I want to say about that. And then usually what happens, as you say, I begin liking them or enjoying the attention, and we start a relationship. And then soon after they lose interest, and then I start pursuing them, trying to prove how great I am. But usually, now you're not being very specific about what's happening there either, but I'm going to assume, I'm going to make another assumption, and I know I shouldn't assume. Back in college, my journalism professor told me this. Don't assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. But I'm going to assume anyway. Sorry, professor. I'm going to assume anyway that you're not just sort of, I'm enjoying this, I'm beginning to like this, but probably what's starting to happen is that you begin developing a fear around, now I like them, now I fear I might lose them. Right? And that's usually what happens. So it's not necessarily a natural transition into sort of a cool relationship that's kind of like, hey, right on, I'm still about me, but I'm loving this other person here. That it starts to become about a neediness that starts to pop up. Oftentimes people have this, I have this sometimes, and we get things and then we become immediately afraid of losing them. We must maintain them. And in that sense, you probably start pushing a lot. And then you start kind of pushing them right out of your life. Again, they're feeling that energy is now shifting away from you kind of having this charismatic, attractive energy about you. Now you're sort of becoming needy, needing to prove to them how awesome you are. And they're kind of like, I don't know. They're picking that up, and it's repellent energy now, as opposed to attractive energy, right? So be aware of where that's happening. And again, be aware of why you need that, why you need them to make you happy, right? Sometimes it's like a drug a little bit, like a dopamine push. Somebody gives you attention, positive attention, then you want more, and you feel like if you don't get it, all of a sudden you start pursuing it, right? And then you pursue it right out of your life. because you're energetically, you're driving it away. So ultimately, you say, I'd like a healthy, balanced relationship. So there you go. So probably what's happening is that it's never quite balanced, right? So either they like you more than you like them, and things switch, and now you like them more than they like you, right? So you want to start focusing on balance and ease, because ease is another thing. You said, as I mentioned, I do have a specific person I'd like to attract back into my life, but I want to truly be in a place where loving feels easy and I'm not needing anything from them. So here's the thing that I said earlier. If you want to, you need to become clear about what you want in a relationship. And usually, and here's the big clue, guys, for manifesting anything that we desire, anything that we want, especially the things we want really badly. We want them because of how we think we're going to feel when we have them, okay? If I have the $1,000, then I'll be happy. If I have the $10,000, then I'll be happy. If I just had that relationship, then I could be happy. All right? Oh, I'll start dating once I win the lottery or make more money, because I can't date if I don't have money. Yada, 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 on it goes, right? We think we need these conditions to be happy, to feel a certain way. But the thing, the feeling, the state of being is what we're really after. It's not ever the thing or the person. It's how we think that person is going to make us feel, or that thing is going to make us feel. So that's a very big, important clue. And she has identified that, which is an important first step. So she wants a balanced, healthy relationship. She wants to feel freedom and ease and balance in her relationship. So here's what you do. Now that you've identified ease and balance and freedom, I believe you said? Yes, ease and balance and freedom. So now you've got those big umbrella things. Those are the states that you're after. So now you focus. You start focusing on where you already have that in your life. Look at every area of your life where you already have freedom. Look at every area of your life where you already feel ease. Look at every area of your life where you feel that you feel is balanced, and you focus on those things as much as you can. And this is where doing gratitude comes in. This is why gratitude and appreciation lists are so important, because you're going for the feeling of the thing that already exists in your life. And as you're doing that, you're giving that thing focus by default. You're automatically feeding it attention, and then it will grow. So as you focus on where you already have freedom in your life, you're making freedom grow in your life. You're going to bring more of it in as you begin to feel it more, okay? If you look for all the areas in your life that are easy right now, that are flowing right now, where there's no resistance right now, and as you focus on those things and as you appreciate those things, you begin to feel more ease, because you're concentrating now on ease, okay? And as you're concentrating on ease, you're occupying your mind with that, so it doesn't have the time to focus on the opposite of that, okay? This is how you get rid of negative, bad thinking. You replace it with good thinking. And if it's difficult at first, you just do it bit by bit by bit. You practice it every single day. Start by taking baby steps, okay? Start by looking at just a couple of things every day where you have freedom in your life already, where you have ease in your life already, and where you feel your life is balanced already. All right, so your car gives you freedom, okay? The money in your bank account gives you a certain kind of freedom, all right? So look, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Look at the little things that you might overlook every day because you take them for granted, okay? But see how they're associated with the states that you're after. Talk about things that embody freedom and ease and balance. Do things that embody freedom and ease and balance, okay? Think about things that embody freedom and ease and balance. That's really what it comes down to, okay? So this again, all three of these emails are about you guys need to pull back and focus on yourselves and not focus so much on them, and focus on where you want to be, how you want to feel in the relationship that you're after with the person that you want to be in a relationship with, okay? Yeah, I'm looking for freedom. This is the last paragraph. I'm looking for freedom when it comes to love, as in their behavior doesn't affect me because I feel this inner love. Again, of course. So there you go. Inner love is another one. So you're after freedom. You've got quite a few going on here. You're after freedom, ease, balance, and love. Okay? So this is where you also focus on loving yourself. If you want love in your life from other people, you need to start by loving yourself. That's what's going to initiate that love from them, okay? Because it's what you're feeling on the inside and how you're showing up on the inside, and what your energy, your dominant energy is on the inside, is what's going to come reflected back at you from the third dimensional mirror that is your physical reality. Okay, it's not solid, and the way people are going to show up, the aspects of them that you're going to draw out to you as you focus on them, is going to correspond directly, is going to be a direct reflection of your inner state. So if you want love from the people, from the men in your life, focus on love, directing that love towards yourself first. Okay? Wow, I'm like having tongue-tied today. So I hope that helps, and I hope that clarifies a few points for you guys. Thank you for the emails. Sorry for all the babbling today. I'll get back into the mojo with this thing. I'll get back into the feeling of this, but I realize I'm still like traveling. I've been, like driving. I got that driving tunnel vision still, even though I've been back for several days now. That's a man, I'm getting travel weary. So in a couple of weeks I'll be on an airplane again, and I'll be back for several months back in the homestead. So things will even out a little bit at that point, guys. So thank you for being patient with me. I know it's been a while since the last video, and there's going to be more videos coming up and more frequently, starting now. Well, in a few days there'll be another video. But I'm basically back now. That's the point I'm trying to make. So anyway, in the meantime, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all the new subscribers. I keep getting new subscribers. I love you guys. I love all my current subscribers. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your emails, your awesome comments. I'm going to try to get back into answering as many comments as I can, although that's becoming more difficult the more viewers I have. And so please understand that. Also, thank you for your donations, all the folks that have left me donations. Thank you to my coaching clients. And if you are interested in coaching or leaving a donation, you can do so, and find the links to that down below in the description box. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching me for the first time, and you like what you see, and you like what you hear, and you like the cut of my jib, then please hit subscribe now, and thank you in advance for doing that. All right, guys, so until next time, I'm 𝗙Con. Happy manifesting, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.